Throughout many cultures, especially Eastern cultures, Eastern philosophies, as well as indigenous cultures, it is taught that when the physical body dies, the soul lives on. This is what we call reincarnation. I want to talk about my own personal reincarnation story. I've actually saw myself in at least 4 different past lives through past life regressive hypnosis. Before I get into that, I want to talk about the history of reincarnation and past lives based off ancient cultures and different writings that from stories that have been documented in an ancient past. The first story, or one of the most earliest stories that I'm familiar with, is the story of Vishnu. Not sure if many of you are familiar with Hinduism, but Vishnu is the Hindu god who was present during the times of Brahma and Shiva. When he died, as he incarnated through many different lifetimes, one of his avatars was Lord Rama from the Ramayana, as well as Lord Krishna from the Bhagavad Gita, all the way down to Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, from the Lotus Sutras and many of the various different sutras. This particular being had full consciousness and awareness of all of his prior lifetimes, so he had the opportunity to actually know who he was and know his actual spiritual evolutionary line, which is something that's very difficult for average human beings, especially living in the West, such as North America. We're not even taught that we even have a soul. So for a child to be born to have full recall of their prior lifetimes is truly a blessing, which happens to be the case now, especially more and more present today than ever before. Many children are being born now with memories of their prior lifetimes without even having to go into past life regressive hypnosis. But like I said, I myself, I participate in it. It definitely helped me and helped me understand an overview of my entire life. Another good story, another great reincarnation story is the story of the Dalai Lama. A lot of people may not be familiar with it or know the story at all, but the Dalai Lama, his very first incarnation here on the planet was as the Bodhisattva Chenrezig. From his statements, he came and arrived to our world as Chenrezig from another different world. That's stated actually in the Lotus Sutras, where it talks about the Buddha telling one of his students who observed some magnificent looking lights in the sky, as the student asked the Buddha, what are these lights? And the Buddha replied, those lights are the 8 great bodhisattvas making a transition into this world from their world. They were extraterrestrials at that present time. So Chenrezig himself, who was a teacher of compassion, as he died, he incarnated into the first Dalai Lama all the way down to the 14th Dalai Lama, which is the present Dalai Lama that we have today. He became Dalai Lama at the age of 2 years old. When he was in his previous lifetime, he told his followers where they could find him. And when they went to that location, they found a 2-year-old child. And when they knocked on the door, before they could even say the words out their mouth, the 2-year-old child said, "That's my necklace," which was a necklace that the Dalai Lama had worn his previous lifetime. So all of these stories, I mean, yeah, they're truly magnificent, but at the same time, every human being should have this knowledge. It doesn't make any sense that a human being who has a soul, who has a spirit, not have any knowledge of their soul or spirit. To not know that when the physical body dies, the soul lives on. To not know that the whole purpose and the reason that we're born in the first place is to gain knowledge and wisdom of life through experiences so that we can evolve spiritually as we carry this knowledge with us when we die and move on through our spiritual evolution. So let me get into my own past life experiences. One of the first past life experiences I had, let me say this. With past life regressive hypnosis, every experience is not really the same. Some of the experiences just come as still pictures or still photos of a memory that you know you didn't have in this lifetime. But they arrive like that. Some of them show as actual visual, almost like videos, like you're watching a movie script. Some of them may just be smells or taste in your mouth or something that's very familiar. Sometimes you see individuals from this lifetime that you were present with in a lifetime before this one, because that's the way it all works. Everything is connected that way. But in one of my first past life regressive hypnosis sessions, I saw myself walking through a garden, a magnificent, beautiful garden. So many beautiful flowers. And I was walking, as I was walking, I was in this area that appeared to be a courtyard. There was various different figurine facial statues placed inside of the wall along the actual courtyard that I was walking on. And when I saw this, I immediately recognized the place. This place was, what's the name of it? It's called Tiwanaku, Bolivia. That's where it was. And when I was there, this was roughly around 15,000 years ago when I had my lifetime there. And right now, when you look up Tiwanaku, you will see that it's pretty much a barren desert land. There's no grass growing anywhere. But during my lifetime, when I was there, my past life, that whole area was lush and beautiful with green grass and flowers and everything. It shocked me just as much when I saw it to actually turn on the TV one day and see Tiwanaku and know that, oh my God, this is the place from my past life experience. Except for now it's all desert and sand, but back when I was living there, it was all beautiful green grass and flowers. I'm guessing through climate change, which may have changed it. Another one of my past lives, I spent in the Vatican. I was a blind, elderly African man, and I worked as a cardinal. And the only thing I saw in that actual experience for me working with the Vatican was me carrying incense, a very old-fashioned metallic ball incense carrier, and I walked down up and down the aisle carrying the incense as the other cardinals prepared everything. Nothing too much important there, but that was just something that I saw from one of my past lives. Another lifetime I had, I lived in Virginia as a painter. I was one of the Spaniards, one of the earliest European settlers who first arrived to North America. And the type of paintings that I was painting was something similar to what you see in courthouse seals. I don't know if you ever paid attention to courthouse seals when you see the symbology in the seals, but I was one of the ones who was hired to actually design those seals. This was in the year 1700s, and I lived in Virginia. The house that I lived was very beautiful. The land was beautiful. My house sat right at the edge of a very beautiful lake. Yeah, that's just the way the past lives work. You see the images, you remember everything from that lifetime. You see the people. many of the people that was there in that lifetime are actually with you in this lifetime as well. Another lifetime I had was in South Africa. In this lifetime, I was actually with my youngest daughter, Lyric Atlantis, in this lifetime. She was my younger sister in this lifetime, and we were with the tribe. I don't remember the actual name of the tribe in South Africa that we belonged to, but all I remember from this past life experience was that I had died at pretty much of a fairly young age, and my sister, my youngest sister, who was now my daughter, was the only one who had the ability, the spiritual ability, to see my soul rise from my body as I transition in preparation for my next lifetime. And I remember me saying goodbye to her as my soul left my body, and I remember being able to telepathically hear her thoughts and her telling me that she was going to come with me until one of my future lifetimes, and now she's with me now as my youngest daughter, Lyric Atlantis. One of my most vivid past life experiences that I've had was my past life in Atlantis. Now, this story here, I'm actually going to have to tell as a story, because this was the most powerful past life experience I've ever had, which made the most sense to me, which pretty much explains the reason why I'm on the path that I'm on right now, the spiritual journey. When I realized I was in this past life, I saw myself sitting somewhere deep underground in a room. The room was completely decorated with gold ornaments, I mean, all over the walls, everywhere. To the left of me was a statue of an almost life-size version of a half eagle, half lion creature. At that point of time when I saw this myself in this experience, I didn't know what the creature was. I had to do a lot of research through Google, which I later found out that this creature is called a griffin. It's actually something that was well known throughout mythological times. While I was in this experience, there was two entities that was with me. There was a man who looked very human. He had white skin and almost grayish hair. I could tell he was pretty much old. And then to the left of me, there was a woman who was extremely beautiful. But the only odd thing about this woman, even though she was human, 80% human at least, she had the characteristics of a lion. She was wearing a red and gold geisha-like outfit, and from the very second that I looked over and I saw this woman, I immediately realized that I knew her, and I loved her, and I missed this woman a whole lot. All of these emotions had poured through me. I almost had tears come down out of my eyes from the second I saw this woman, and she looked at me and she waved. She didn't have 5 fingers like we had. She only had 4 fingers on both hands, but although her body was very proportionate. It took some time for me to come out of that experience for me to realize who this woman was, as I've done all of my research. Even though while I was in that experience, I knew her. I later realized that this woman was the Egyptian deity Sekhmet. I realized that I had a very strong connection with Sekhmet from that lifetime, my time in Atlantis. And I remember as I was sitting there looking at Sekhmet as well as this other elderly man, a ball of light came into the room, almost like the size of a basketball, but it floated into the room and it operated more like some type of holographic technology. As this ball floated into the room, the ball began to operate just like a computer, but being controlled by thoughts. As this the elderly man began to control it. And he didn't say a single word out of his mouth. He projected his thoughts to me telepathically, telling me, try to remember your life in Atlantis. Try to remember Atlantis. And I saw on the ball, it zoomed in to the Atlantic Ocean, where this actual small island or continent existed during the times of Atlantis. And I saw everything from the entire continent from the time that it actually sunk to the bottom of the ocean floor. And of course, I was on an island at the time when it sunk, and I died in that lifetime. And from that lifetime, and from me having my interactions with this Egyptian deity Sekhmet, I later died, and then my next incarnation after that was my lifetime in ancient Kemet, which is known as ancient Egypt. And from that lifetime, my lifetime spent in ancient Egypt, I was with Sekhmet again, and that's how my relationship began with her. And as of right now, as I'm studying things, I'm learning that everything I saw was real. Every time I research Sekhmet or anything about the Egyptian deities, I noticed that the way I saw her, the type of outfit that she was wearing, is exactly how she's described or depicted of wearing her clothes, as well as in the Egyptian books. So I want to encourage everybody to at least try past life regressive hypnosis at least once in their life. For many people, it doesn't work on the very first time. It's something that you have to really get your body to relax enough to be able to do. But if you can, just try it out at least once or twice, 5 or 6, 7 times until you get yourself with a good experience, because a lot of us, we carry past traumas through our lifetimes, and it's a lot that we need to actually heal from in order to move forward. That's my past life story.